Welcome to the critique.
Hi there.
So the material we looked at today, it's this really comprehensive guide. Lots of FAQs, articles explaining life in the villages.
Yeah, deep dive. Covers CDD fees, bonds, utilities, even architectural review, governance. It's all in there.
It really is. And the amount of accurate, specific data, it's exceptional. A real strength.
Definitely.
But we're going to jump straight into the high-level thoughts. Ways to maybe boost clarity and organization, especially for someone thinking about moving there.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Well, it seems like a key challenge here is balancing the big picture context with all the local details. So our first point is really about structure, specifically how the whole world of Florida's special districts gets introduced.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. There's so much expertise packed in, but structurally, it asks a lot of the reader right at the start. The flow seems, well, it pulls you in a couple of different directions at once.
That's it, exactly. That structural oscillation. The weakness, really, is that it jumps between the general stuff like, what is a community development district? How's it different from an HOA?
Right, the basics.
And then, boom, you're into super specific local instructions.
Like, 1 minute you're reading about non-ad valorem assessments and the 5-member board, the legal framework.
Mm-hmm.
And the very next paragraph, it's telling you the exact trash collection differences between District 11 and District 12.
Yeah, and the reader has to keep switching hats, right? From understanding the what, the whole legal setup, to the how, the very specific local rule.
It's demanding, constantly reorienting.
It really is. It's that difference between grasping why the rules exist versus just how to follow one specific rule for your house.
And that blurring means the foundational stuff, which is so critical for understanding the money side long term, it kind of gets lost in the weeds of day-to-day compliance.
Right. If you don't get the CDD basics first, then reading about architectural review feels, well, maybe arbitrary or just overwhelming.
So the core idea needs to be separating that foundational learning from the local instructions. Treat the first part like essential reading before you get the how-to guide.
Okay, so the topic sentence here, crystallizing that, the material's overall structure requires delineation to separate the necessary foundational education on Florida's CDD system from the hyper-specific operational rules of the villages.
Exactly. That clear break will make a huge difference for the reader. Less cognitive load.
So, the suggestion. How do we fix it?
We think you should create a really clear upfront section, maybe call it something like a CDD primer, dedicated only to the core concepts.
Okay.
Make sure the reader gets the basic legal and financial framework, let's call that the forest, before they dive into all the detailed local stuff, the trees. Establish the context first.
Makes sense. What would that look like concretely? Like, what moves?
Well, for starters, take the definition of a CDD, that it's a special purpose government, its limited powers, the governance with the 5-member board, sunshine law stuff.
All that foundational info.
Yeah, move all of that into this distinct early section, CDD fundamentals, or whatever you call it. Make it step 1.
Okay. And what else?
Well, building on that, right now, the architectural review section, it pops up really early as one of the first detailed local things.
I saw that, yeah.
That needs to move back, way back. It's just too jarring to go from, say, the definition of a bond to suddenly reading, you need an ARC application form for literally any exterior change, landscaping, a patio, even taking out a tree.
And then listing the specific addresses like 3571 Kiso Road to submit the form.
Exactly. Listing those addresses and the nitty-gritty rules for a concrete patio only really clicks after the reader understands that the CDD is basically their local government making these rules.
Gotcha. Separate the big concepts from the specific addresses and processes. First the why, then the where and how.
Precisely.
All right, that covers structure well. Now, let's pivot. Let's talk about maybe the biggest sticking point for newcomers. The money, the financials.
Ah, yes. And this is where the material is really strong on detail, but maybe could be presented differently for impact. I mean, the combination of fees and bonds, that's usually the main source of confusion, maybe even anxiety for buyers.
Totally agree. And while the guide accurately describes the three main commitments, the bond assessment, the maintenance assessment, and the amenity fee, they're kind of fragmented, spread out.
They are. And that fragmentation, it has a big consequence. The weakness here is that the reader might miss the really massive long-term difference between them.
Which is?
Well, the bond, that's essentially debt for the initial infrastructure, right? It runs 20 or 30 years, and crucially, it can be paid off early. You can eliminate it.
Okay, optionality there.
But the maintenance assessment, that never goes away, as the material rightly says. And the amenity fee is an ongoing monthly cost. That difference, optional payoff versus permanent obligation, is absolutely critical.
And that needs to be crystal clear right up front so buyers can see the full financial picture long term.
Exactly. We need to pull those threads together much more explicitly. So our topic sentence, while the three core financial commitments are accurately described across the documents, consolidating their comparison is essential to help the prospective homebuyer assess the long-term financial reality immediately.
They need that side-by-side view.
Yes. It shifts the whole frame from just, here are some fees, to, here are your ongoing permanent costs versus your finite infrastructure debt. That's a big mental shift.
Agreed. So the suggestion for improvement?
Create a dedicated section, maybe a comparison chart or a focused segment. Call it the 3 pillars of Village's finance or something similar.
Okay.
And in that spot, explicitly contrast the purpose, how often you pay, the duration, the long-term nature, and maybe even the risk profile of the bond, the maintenance assessment, and the amenity fee. The key question to answer is, which costs stick around forever?
Right. Let's give some concrete examples of how to group these for maximum clarity. You'd want to visually contrast the bond, pays for building stuff, non-ad valorem, potential payoff, with the maintenance assessment. That one pays for ongoing upkeep, storm drains, street lights, those multimodal paths. And it's an annual cost that's permanent.
Never goes away. And then clearly position the amenity fee that's your monthly ticket for recreation, right? Executive golf, pools, currently around $199 a month as of April 2025, I think it said.
Yeah, and make it clear that fee isn't tied to paying off infrastructure debt, like the bond. It's for services, so it continues indefinitely, too.
And you've got great data in there about financial variances that should be pulled into this comparison, too.
Good point. Emphasize that while the bond amount is fixed to the home, that maintenance assessment, it can fluctuate each year based on the district's budget set by the board.
And those ranges are significant. From, District 12 around $350 a year, up to maybe over $1,000 a year for some premier homes. That potential fluctuation is key info for budgeting.
Absolutely. And one more crucial thing for this finance section.
The bond details link?
Exactly. Make sure the process for finding the specific bond details is super visible. That link, districtgov.org, where people can find the amortization schedule, the interest rate, the remaining balance for their specific property's bond.
That needs to be front and center, like a big Find Your Bond Info Here button.
Yeah. It's the key to understanding the full debt picture. It should be the immediate call to action for any serious buyer in that finance section.
Definitely. That shift from scattered details to one consolidated comparison will make this so much more relevant for a buyer trying to figure out their budget.
Okay, great. Now let's shift gears one last time. Let's talk usability, but more for the people who've already moved in. They need quick answers sometimes. Our third critique focuses on the communication infrastructure, finding the right contact.
Ah, yes. This is interesting because the guide has an incredible wealth of accurate phone numbers, addresses, locations.
It does. Tons of detail.
But because it's all dispersed across different FAQs and topics, it could actually become kind of functionally useless when someone has a real time-sensitive issue. Like, say, a sewage backup after hours versus just asking about landscaping.
That's the weakness right there. If you have a specific, immediate problem, you have to scan multiple categories, maybe deed compliance, roads, utilities, trying to figure out which number to call.
And often, it turns out to be the same department handling several of those things anyway.
Exactly. Think about that moment of stress, right? It's 2 a.m., something's backing up, or there's water gushing from an irrigation line.
You don't have time to cross-reference FAQs.
No, you need the right number now, especially distinguishing between regular business hours contacts and after-hours emergencies.
We saw a perfect example of this scattered approach with that one phone number, 352-753-4022.
Oh, yeah.
It's listed under landscaping for tree trimming near signs, then under general for reporting geological anomalies, and also under roadways for villa road maintenance.
Right. So one department, property management, I think, handles like 6 different types of issues,
But the resident has to potentially look in 3 different places in the guide to figure that out.
which isn't helpful in a pinch. So the information needs a different organizing principle. Our topic sentence. The wealth of phone numbers and location data, while detailed, is dispersed throughout the FAQs and should be centralized into a cohesive action center based on functional area.
Okay, an action center. I like that. So the suggestion is, resort everything?
Pretty much. Reorganize all the contact info not by the topic, forget categories like gopher tortoises or tree removal for finding contacts, but organize it by the department responsible.
Ah, okay. So you'd list the department, say property management.
Exactly. List the department's name, then list all the things they handle and their main contact lines. And critically, make the after-hours emergency numbers really stand out.
Got it. So how would that look in practice?
Well, to make this action center really work, you'd group, say, the customer service center locations, Kiesel Road, Lake Sumter Landing, Avenida Central, put them together in one easy-to-find list for anyone needing in-person help, right at the top.
Make sense? Addresses together?
Then, consolidate everything under property management's main number. That 352-753-4022 number needs one clear entry, District Property Management. And then bullet point everything they cover. Road maintenance, postal station issues, irrigation running wild, gopher tortoises, geological concerns, all of it.
One number, many responsibilities, listed clearly.
Yes. And then, crucially, differentiate the utility contacts. Group the utility's customer service number, 352-750-0000, for all the regular stuff, billing questions, reporting leaks during the day, address changes.
Okay, the daytime utility line.
But then clearly highlight the separate, distinct function of Community Watch, 352-753-0550, because they handle the house check program, Adult Watch.
And they're the dedicated line for after-hours emergency utility problems, like that sewage backup scenario.
Exactly. That distinction is vital. Structuring contacts around the entity property management, utilities customer service, Community Watch lets someone quickly find the right help stream, whether it's minor or urgent.
That's a huge usability win, especially when someone's stressed or needs help fast.
Definitely. So this has been, I think, a really focused critique, mostly about restructuring this already excellent data. Just to recap the big opportunities.
Yeah, we hit 3 main areas for reorganization.
First was enhancing that structural coherence, really separating the foundational CDD primer, the why, from all the specific local operational details, the how.
Make that clear separation. Second, streamline the financial pillars. Pull the bond, maintenance, and amenity fee info together into one clear comparison.
Right, and really hammer home the ongoing, permanent nature of maintenance and amenity fees versus the bond's potential payoff.
That permanence is key. And third, boost usability by creating that centralized action center. Group all the contacts by the department responsible, not by topic, and make those after-hours numbers obvious.
Yep. Reorganizing around those long-term financial realities and making help easy to find via department. That's going to take this incredibly rich data and make it vastly more user-friendly for potential buyers and current residents.
Absolutely. We're really confident these structural and organizational tweaks will significantly strengthen the clarity and impact of what's already a very, very strong document.
We hope these suggestions are helpful.
And we definitely invite you to maybe work through some of these ideas and feel free to submit the revised material back to us. We'd be happy to take another look.
Definitely. Until next time, keep refining your work.